In this lesson, we will create and manage tables. So we will create an Excel table from a range and then do the opposite of that, convert a table to a cell range, and then we'll do the very basic tasks of adding and removing table rows and columns. So I'll go a little bit beyond just the simple descriptions and give you some more practical uses of tables, because I think you'll find tables are a really useful way to make use of a bunch of cells of data immediately. And you'll see that as soon as we do this. So I am on the MLS Standings tab, and what I've done is that I've just taken the Eastern Conference results and the Western Conference results, and I've combined them into a single table. So just a couple of cut and paste operations, or technically copy and paste operations, has allowed me to create this combined table of the MLS table. In fact, you probably are familiar, but soccer results are referred to as tables, sort of for this reason. In any event, we are going to create a table from a range of cells. And so what I'm going to do in this range is that I'm going to select along my header row like that, and then use that keyboard shortcut that we've looked at previously, which is Control, Shift, and the down arrow. So that lets me select the entire range of cells. In this case, this is going to be mapped to an entire table. So before we convert it to a table, I just want to point out that this is a range that you can name. So if I wanted to name this range combined, I could always select somewhere else, click on the drop down, click on combined, and I've got this entire range selected. Now, in terms of the conversion process, it is very straightforward. All I have to do is go to the Styles collection up here in the Home tab of the ribbon, click on Format as Table, and then you'll know what to do from here. So you select your style. Maybe you want a style that alternates the shading of the rows of your table, and you click that. So now you finally get a dialog box that says Format as Table. Where's the data for your table? So you can reselect if you need to. And then this box is very significant here in the conversion. The table has headers. So yes, my table does have headers. I selected the table header row to get things started. And as you'll see in just a moment, it will have a big impact on the filtering mechanisms that are available. So I'll click on OK, and now as you can see, my table is created. Now, a couple of things to point out immediately. One is that you're taken to the Table Tools Design tab immediately, and you have access to these table styles. So if you want to change your table styles to look something like that, you certainly can do that right away. And then you can click on the drop down and select from lots of other table styles. Another thing you can do is you can look at the left-hand side, and over here you've got a table name. So you can give this table a name just like you could a range. And the issue here is that you have to remember not to use spaces. So if I titled it MLS table and then hit enter, it would tell you you've got a syntax error. So use an underscore, don't include a space, things like that. So I could do something like MLS underscore table and name my table like that. Now let's go over here and look at some of the table style options in this grouping here. And one of the most interesting things about a table is that you can quickly add a total row, and that'll add this row to the bottom. And then at the bottom, you will see that if you click on any of these cells, you get this little drop down here. So immediately you can click on this and you can add a function. So the maximum, who is the team with the most wins, who is the team with the most draws, that was 11, what was the average of the goals against for the league. You know, these are easy things to calculate with this simple total row and using these drop downs. If you want to resize your table, one of the ways that you could do so is that you can use this little icon right here at the very lower right hand side, and this will let you click and drag, and that lets you add a column. I'll go ahead and undo that right now. Or you can click on Resize Table up here and then resize your table. So I'll cancel out of this and show you the other thing that I think is really functional about a table, and that is these filtering mechanisms that you get when you convert a range to a table. So for example, if you wanted to show just your Eastern Conference teams, you click on that drop down, and then using this checkbox, you're just selecting the Eastern Conference. Also notice that your total rows update automatically. So this goal against changed, and the total number of points also changed. You also can tell at a glance that you have a filter applied to the table because right next to conference there is that filter icon. You can also use filters in multiple columns at once, and you can specify custom filters. So for example, in your gold differential column, if you wanted to click on number filters and greater than or equal to, so we'll just do greater than or equal to, greater than 0 is going to show, click on OK, and now you're seeing just the teams in the Eastern Conference whose gold differentials for the season was positive rather than negative. And once again, notice that the totals in your total row are updated. So now that we've explored the capabilities of a table and some of the great data analysis tools that are available immediately when you convert a range to a table, let's go ahead and undo the filter. So we'll just clear the filter here. We'll go over here and we'll clear the filter here. So that shows us everything once again. I am going to select the table just by clicking there, by clicking on the name range, and then I am going to first remove the total row from my table, and then I will do this. I will convert it back to a range. So once I do that, it'll give you a confirmation dialog. Do you want to convert the table to a normal range? Yes. And then you can see that this is now a normal range once again. Those filtering buttons are gone. Notice that, of course, it did not take off the formatting that was applied, but that can be cleared very easily by using the editing tools, and you clear your formats. Now, as our last note here, just want to point out how we insert columns and rows in a table. Just all you have to do is select in a table itself and then use the cells insert. You can also right click and do this. Now, notice here that when it's just a range, you have just these options, but when you convert to a table, and I'll just do the selection of the combined range, I will convert it to a table, doesn't matter which one. And now that I have this, I can go back to cells, insert, and now I'll be able to insert table rows above the selected cell or insert table columns to the left of the selected cell. You can also do this by right-clicking, and you get these same options: insert, and then table columns to the left and table rows above. So that's a quick look at tables, very powerful technique, certainly something you'll be asked about on the 727 exam.